Welcome everyone to the Mod Golf Podcast YouTube channel. I am Colin Weston, host of the Mod Golf Podcast. Today, just finished up a great interview with James Cronk, who is the president of Golf Industry Guru. We talked about all things entrepreneurship, how to get a business started, whether in the golf industry or not, all kinds of nuggets of wisdom. So I really encourage you as a viewer to go back and listen to that episode, which we'll have a link down below here. But James and I are going to have another conversation here. We're going to talk about some different stuff here. And I'm going to start off by getting James on screen here to say again, James, hey, long time no see. It's been about 10 minutes. How you doing?
It's been 10 minutes. It's been 10, but now we're live. Now we're on camera. So I had to comb my hair and, get ready and all that stuff.
There we go. You don't look a day older since the last time I talked to you there. So good to see you again. So, hey, James, for our viewers, why don't you give us a quick overview? Tell them what the Golf Industry Guru is and why you do it.
Sure, you bet, Colin. I mean, Golf Industry Guru is an online training platform whereby we provide training tools. So courses, webinars, podcasts, templates, fundamentally to the 35,000, or we try to have the 35,000 golf course around the world to help them train their staff, mostly train their management team. And it's an online membership platform that we just launched on January the 3rd.
Love it. Love it. January 3rd. So that's this year, 2021. So
yeah, you bet.
Wow. So amazing. So you launched this during COVID. So we talk about an entrepreneurship. I remember seeing a TED talk with an investor from Silicon Valley who's of course invested in hundreds and hundreds of companies, both tech and non-tech. So that means he's seen tens of thousands of pitches and opportunities. And of all of the kind of criteria of what makes a successful or investable business, the idea and the team and the size of the market. But the number one they talk about is the timing, whether you're able to see that yourself or it just happened to align very nicely with what's going on. So we had a great conversation earlier. So I don't want to, like I said, kind of be redundant and go over that again too much. So let's talk about now. You released this during a pandemic where everything's gone virtual. And this idea you had obviously more than 10 months ago. So it seems for me that the timing's great. So you can tell us a little bit about that. What are the challenges and the opportunities that you've seen now during a pandemic for your business?
Well, I wish I could tell you that, I was lucky enough many, many years ago, Colin, I was hired by the golf industry in Canada to write a strategic plan on how to grow the game of golf in Canada. And I can unfortunately tell you that none of my chapters said we need a pandemic around the world that's going to somehow, get people out of their homes and on a golf course, because the reality is that the pandemic, as terrible as it's been, has for many reasons become a boom to the golf industry. Rounds of golf in Canada, for example, were up 25-30% this past season in 2020. And that's been seen in other parts all over the world. So who'd have guessed it that a pandemic would have caused growth in the game? I would also tell you that when I started Golf Industry Guru, I had no idea that 95% of our customers now know what Zoom is. Because when we started, if you're talking to a golf course operator in Russia or in Africa or in India, online training would not have been something that they would have had in their head. There's just this awareness now that you can't put 100 people into a room together and give them a speech about how the golf club opens next week. And here's what we got to do, our normal orientation process of training. So my phone is ringing off the hook, to be honest, with regards to clubs trying to find ways to train their staff using video, using Zoom, virtually, in groups of 5. And so I'd like to hope, Colin, that if 5 years from now, I'm doing another podcast and talking about hopefully the success of Golf Industry Guru, I can assure you I'll be saying that we didn't predict it, but our timing was pretty fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on this earlier in our conversation, but I want you to expand on this. And to scale a business, obviously you're automating the pieces that you have here. And of course, virtual is, and now people are already onboarded. You're not starting from zero every time, which was just another pain point that now is relieved for you through the unfortunate situation of a global pandemic. What about partnerships and alliances? And you've spent a career building up relationships. You're a relationship person, a people person. When I know that from our conversations. What strategic partnerships are you making? Are you seeing on a global basis that are you looking to propel yourself forward rather than you just doing it on your own here, which is the slow way to try to boil the ocean, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and the lesson I would say, I know we're going to be listened to by many individuals and people that are also entrepreneurs, or people that have got their product that they're trying to launch, or that they've got their business idea that they want to get off the ground. And I would say, I've 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 learned a lot from a lot of people, Colin. And one of the things that I've learned from my peers is, I think, the importance of your own brand, and of those relationships, and cultivating those relationships. And you never know when a door is going to need to be opened, or you're going to walk through it. You never know. And so, if during your career you've built good relationships, and you've followed through on what you've promised, and you've respected your peers, well, then when it comes time to knock on their door and say, hey, I've got an idea. Will you listen to me? Even will you listen to the idea? I've been very lucky that some of those people have listened. And so, the gurus that we have, those are friends and people that I've spoken at conferences with around the world, and I've met, that are experts in their field. And they're just so enthusiastic about sharing their expertise with the golf industry. If you want to work in the golf industry, you don't do it because you want to get rich. I can tell you that, because it's like, yeah, I talked about earlier on about being a performer and actor. You don't decide to be a carpenter or be an actor because you want to make money. You do it because you love it. And I think that you have to have that at your core, because I can tell you there's lots of people that come in the golf business that think they're going to make billions of dollars because it's a huge industry, and there's millions and millions of golfers, and they've got the newest widget, the newest putter, the newest ball picker upper, whatever you want to call it. But you got to be in it for the right reasons. And I think if you're in it for the right reasons, then those partnerships and relationships will stick with you and will help you. We're fortunate to work with the golf course owners associations of some different countries, and it doesn't mean they're in golf courses are independent, but by having their endorsement, obviously they believe in education, they believe in online training, they believe that any tool that can help an operator be more successful and be profitable is valuable. So we've developed kind of those affiliate kind of partnerships.
Nice, nice. I want to ask you this as an entrepreneur. As at any age, we can have mentors. Everybody has this idea that it's got to be a young person looking for an older person as a mentor. And myself, I have people that I consider micro mentors. When I talk to them and learn things from them that are half my age. I've had over 90 guests on the podcast, and you also, I consider a mentor in some way. I learned something, and my life is richer for every conversation I have. So for entrepreneurs out there that are looking for inspiration of places to go, whether it's online or things you've read, or videos that you've watched, or even people that are in your life. Can you tell us a little bit about that, of who's helped you along the way to inspire you and build confidence and advise you along your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, wow. There's so many people. There's so many people. And I think that I think what I've tried to do is to think about it's like the old saying about walk a mile in another man's or woman's shoes, and understand what's driving them, and what's had them become success. And I get back to the comment what I talk about all the time when I'm working with individuals. What is success, Colin? Like you gotta first define, because success to you and success to me and success to Mr. Smith beside us is completely different. To one person's success is driving a Maserati. To another person's success, it's spending the weekend with their kids. I think one of the things that I've looked for in mentors that have helped me is understanding that that it's a journey, that there's lots of ups and downs. There's losing jobs, there's getting jobs, there's successful innovations, and there's failures, and there's perseverance. I mean, I don't expect Golf Industry Guru to hit it out of the park in the first 2 months. I can assure you, it'll be a long, hard slog. There's a great deal of apathy in the golf industry. First of all, there's a great deal of resistance to change. For goodness sakes, we got some golf clubs that don't allow cell phones and still make people wear long socks. So and think that they're a family club, but kids can only play Tuesdays between 10 and 11 a.m.
Right.
So, there's no shortage of barriers in the golf industry and apathy in the golf industry. The good news is that business is business, and the reality of business is that if you don't improve, you die. So for every golf club today that's surviving because of the pandemic, tomorrow there'll be a golf club that'll close because they don't change.
Right.
And they don't adapt, and they don't learn, and they don't push, and they don't find new ways to find a way to make a better burger, or to, greet their customer in a different way, or to improve their golf experience, or whatever it might be. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Or even unlock new customers, like some places like what Troon is doing at Indian Wells with their golf courses. There is, of course, you got this underutilized asset, just like Airbnb, of having an extra bedroom where they have the putting greens and also the driving range. At night, of course, no one's using those because it's dark out, and they've flipped that around, added some technology, have some food trucks out there and some music, and they created shots in the night. So all of a sudden now they've got completely different customers, people that either are lapsed golfers, never played the game before, completely diverse type of user base and fan base now. And it's not then trying to get more people on a golf course, as we know, and you know better than I do because you've lived it. You've been in the industry as working at golf courses in a management and leadership level, that it's like a tube of toothpaste. You can't have 12 people go off every 2 minutes to try to improve your throughput on a golf course. You are capped at a finite number of people that you can get through. So finding other ways to scale, just like you're doing with Golf Industry Guru, and golf courses need to find that and become more entrepreneurial. So hey, I want to ask you this. You talked about mentors, and on our earlier conversation, you touched on a couple of books. So for our viewers here, as an entrepreneur, what can you recommend a couple of books that have inspired or informed you along your entrepreneurial and business journey?
Wow. Well, I think I mentioned to you earlier on about What Color's Your Parachute. It's a book that you hand to your 21-year-old son that just graduated from university, or is not yet gone to university, or is wondering what they're going to do in their life. Doesn't matter what university or not, and is trying to find a path, trying to find a career, trying to find something they're interested in doing. I went to university and wanted to be a lawyer. And then I met with a lawyer and I asked them what they did all day. And then I decided that's the last thing I want to do, because I thought being a lawyer was standing up in front of the judge and the court or the jury and, gesticulating all over the place and, convincing people that this person's guilty and doing all those things. And then I learned that being a lawyer was in your office pushing paper for 95% of the time. And then 5% of the time, you get the fun part of standing up in front of a jury. So that was a great book that I like to kind of follow. And then there's other ones. There's a book, I think it's named Lindsey Buckingham, First Break All the Rules. I mean, there's so many good books out there that are business books. And I want to answer, if you don't mind, I want to go back to the question that you asked me previously, because it's the same thing with books, or it's the same thing with learning. I think that I say to my boys, as whenever I possibly can, I don't care what you do. I just want you to be passionate about it. And so the mentors that I like to listen to and have influenced me are people that are passionate about what they do, no matter what they do. I have no time for people that there's no shortage of people to tell you what can't be done.
Yeah,
there's no shortage of that. I mean, I can find those people left, right, and center. That's all over the place. And that's different than being blind to your project. Like when we had this idea about Golf Industry Guru, and we went out and started to kind of share it. I mean, there's people that I have great respect for, and if they told me it was a stupid idea, I would have shut it down, but they didn't tell me that. What they said was, here's what's going to challenge. Here's what your challenges you're going to find. Here's the thing that's going to be difficult. Here's what you should think of. Here's what you should keep in mind. It's not going to be easy, but they didn't say don't do it. So I think when you look for peers and you think about also being a mentor, I had a call today with a young lady that I coach and mentor and help, and our responsibility, I think, is to know we're not always right. We're definitely not always right, and it's about considering perspectives. I think that's critically important, and the people that I like to listen to and hear about and talk to, they're not always the loudest. They don't have the biggest following on social media. They're not, they're anyone can be loud. Anyone can bombard you with content and can send you another, motivational quote. That doesn't help me. What helps me is something that's going to make me change what I'm doing and to do something better. And that's the kind of people I want to surround myself with, are people that are going to help me make changes that are going to improve whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, positive behavioral change for good, right?
Yeah, and sometimes that's a pat on the back, and sometimes it's a kick in the butt. It comes in many different forms.
Yeah, sometimes it's a stick, sometimes it's a carrot.
Yeah.
Hey, just to finish up here, I did want to ask you this about the future of where you're going. You just launched a couple of months ago. It sounds like you're getting some traction and it's exciting, and you're doing something for entrepreneurs that is very important, because you have bootstrapped this, you and your partner Scott. So you didn't bring in investment, so you still own 100% of the company. So you haven't diluted your equity stake, and you're building this. So I know so many people, they look at entrepreneurship through a very narrow lens, whether it's through Shark Tank, that show in the US, or the equivalent up here with Dragon's Den in Canada, and they think that's how it's done. You have this idea and you go begging almost, or pleading, or pitching, and then take what they'll get and grind each other down in this dance of how much you're going to give up of your company for so much. That's only one option. And in fact, what you're doing by bootstrapping it, you own 100% of it, and you're doing something called, I don't know, you have customers that are actually generating revenue, and you're hopefully generating something called a little bit of profit. What a thing as you scale up. And that becomes even more attractive. It sounds like I'm joking here, but I'm dead serious. The fact that if you want investment afterwards, guess what? The valuation of your company is not this, it's this. So you're giving away less, and you're getting more to take that to the next step when you need, hopefully with you, when you need that round of $1 million or two, you're giving away only a small fraction of your company in order to bump it to the next level. So you're doing all the right things. It's painful sometimes, a lot of the times, because you're just grinding away there. But hats off to you, James, for what you're doing with Golf Industry Guru, you and Scott, of getting it up and running and doing it your way and on your own, and going those hard yards right now at the beginning.
No, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, we, as I said, we didn't do it for money. We didn't do it to make money. We certainly hope it's going to make us a lot of money, and we have aspirations. But we know that we will only be as good as the content that we provide, and the satisfaction of our customers, one customer at a time. So it's no different than any business. It doesn't matter whether you're a realtor or you're a corner store or you're a golf club. You're only as good as your current customer and your last customer. Yep. And so, I always say, do what you love and the money will come. And I've always followed that mantra, and no matter what that end result is, that's just a bonus. That's just a benefit if that happens. We do certainly have aspirations. Our goal is to be the number one online education platform in the golf industry, and we're gonna just keep working every day to get to that. And if it takes 10 years or 10 months, it doesn't matter. It's the journey that's supposed to be fun. It's not getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing I want to ask you here before we go, you mentioned that your customer base is around 35,000 golf clubs around the world. So your users and your buyers, if you will, your customers, are the golf course owners and operators and their staff. So on the other side of that, the fact you are then creating this amazing, compelling, and useful content from your gurus. If there's people out there watching and they're thinking, you know what, I'm in the golf industry, I have something to offer. Are you taking on new gurus, or what is the funnel for you to then vet people and bring them in to say, hey, yeah, you've got something to offer that we don't already have on our platform here. So how do you go about finding or bringing on new gurus?
That's excellent. Well, so we add new content on a regular basis, number one, and number two is we're always seeking new gurus. So that's the exciting part. If someone has something, if they provide a service or something that's going to help a golf club make more money, then I'm interested. I'm interested in talking. But I tell you what, though, here's the caveat. Our job is not to tell them what's the best new putter or what's the best new fryer or what's the best new, way to clean their bathroom. Our job is to provide content that is going to help them reduce their expenses, raise their revenues. It's interesting. That's got a story. There's lots of experts in the golf industry. Those are the people that we're trying to seek out. Great stories. Lots of our listeners. Imagine that you're a young golf professional. You've just become the golf professional of a golf club in Timbuktu, Saskatchewan, and what do you need to know? Well, you need to know how to sell. You need to know how to teach your staff how to sell. Well, I don't need a guru in the golf, and selling is a universal skill. There's fundamental things about how to sell. So we look for gurus from any industry that is going to benefit our customers and our clubs.
Love it. Love it. So to finish up here, if there's some wannabe potential gurus out there that are thinking, I need to get a hold of James. So
Yeah,
what's the
you
best
bet.
way as a guru or a guru wannabe to get a hold of you, James?
It's james@golfindustryguru.com, james@golfindustryguru.com. And what we will, if I get an email, I will send you a little video on a little package, and it tells you how to engage with Golf Industry Guru and what it's all about.
Simple as
And
that.
as simple as that. And I will tell you, by the way, just to clarify, just so everyone knows, we don't pay our gurus, Colin. We promote our gurus. We actually have something called the Gig Scholarship. And so we allocate part of every club's entrance fee to create scholarships for children of golf industry employees from around the world to attend post-secondary education. So that's how we decided to take, instead of paying gurus money, we decided to take their generosity and to reallocate that in order to, once again, promote education within the golf industry.
And you're raising that guru's profile as a thought leader in that space. So the opportunity so the value is incredible for them. So that's exciting stuff. So down below in the comments there, I will put your email address and how they can get a hold of Golf Industry Guru, Gig. And hey, why don't we leave it at that? This has been a second amazing conversation, completely different than the first one we have. So once again, I encourage you viewers out there to go listen to our podcast episode that I had with James Cronk, who is the president of Gig, Golf Industry Guru, and also the founder of Cronk Group. So James, good to see you again, my friend. You take care.
Thanks, Colin. Really appreciate it. All the best. I love what you do.
Thanks so much. All right. See ya.
Cheers.